Bloobity blobbity zibbity zibbity zabbity doop. Just foul language and other stuff. So watch if you're not 18. And currently right now I'm in farming. Just farming.
Now think of it. Your military will let you join up and die. But you can't hear the
God, man, that's pretty dark.
yeah. So like you can die for your country, but you can't hear the effort. And you can't drink, but you can certainly join.
Well, Arizona passed a bill so that way you can't smoke unless you're 21. And I'm
Yeah,
like, man,
everybody
I'm
should be.
glad I'm older than 21. But I'm also glad I don't smoke anymore.
Yeah. I never could imagine smoking. It's to me, it's the opposite of the cool people smoke. I'm always calling them slaves. I'm like, you guys are slaves. Totally enslaved to this corporation. Like, they own you.
They own you. You gotta have a cigarette.
Yeah. It's true, though. Like, they are literally jumping to just do it at any time.
Jessica's mom was like, so you used to smoke. What made you quit? And she's like, and how? And I'm like, I don't have an addictive personality. I'm like, my drug of choice is video games because it just hanging out with friends, having a good time. I'm like, I don't play games enough and spend enough money on games. I'll buy one thing and then make it last a couple of years, and then when I'm done, I switch off to the next video game. And then she's like, I don't quite get it. I'm like, video games in Europe are an actual addiction. They've classified them as an addiction, like a drug. But instead of banning them on drugs, they just give counseling.
Yeah.
And then she's like, video games can be drugs? And her sister Becca's like, yes, video games can be drugs. She's like, to a certain extent, video games can be drugs. And I'm like, exactly.
That would work.
So do you really think he'll get that job that his dad
Oh,
has?
yeah, possibly. Yeah. Gotta talk to him soon. That'd be good. I mean, I gotta get my schedules to start to work with that, but I want to get the schedule going first before I ask him. I don't want to be like, yeah, can I work for you? And then I'm sitting there like, still sleeping at weird hours.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll say yeah. Like, it's guaranteed. I don't think he'd say no.
Like, your sister is my daughter-in-law, so yes.
Yeah. Alright, here we go. This better work. Okay, sugar cane. And the paper. I've been saving it for special trade.
The paper. Smell it. You can smell the paper. Give it a feel. I'll give you an hour. Within an hour, I'll give you an hour with her. How much for the wee one? And then he's like, give me the paper.
It's like 45 minutes with a wee one.
I don't get why they call them smokers though. The smokers.
Yeah.
And if they're on an
One of my
if they're on, the number one thing I don't get is they're on a giant oil tanker. You have to refine oil to turn it into gasoline, and then you have
yeah.
to refine. You have to take a process on a diesel to turn it into diesel, And then the piston engine aircraft that they're flying, that's not JP, but that's leaded fuel. That's heavily leaded fuel. So how in the world are they adding lead to the mixture to turn it into leaded fuel? And then he's driving a car around the tanker. That entire tanker shouldn't have deck levels like that. And how did a fucking car get on a tanker previously? And how does anyone know how to drive a car if there's
Yeah.
fucking thousands of years?
Yeah, they take the plane off. Like, how does the plane even take off from the tanker?
Yeah, how does the plane have enough runway space on a tanker to take off? I want to fucking. If I had a catapult system, like a low-grade catapult system, like they did for the boat planes, like if it had a boat plane on it, okay. If it had a boat plane with a catapult system, like they could crane it up and then drop it on the catapult, like they should have done that. That would have made fucking sense.
Yeah, it would have made much more sense. The movie was pretty good up until, certain points. Like,
Yeah.
I always did like the world itself was good to, imagine when you were a kid playing with Legos. Like back in the day, just building
Yeah.
a little pontoon existed. You're like, oh, I can't touch the water.
But if you really think about it, it would take thousands of years for the human for the human DNA to mutate and turn into where that guy can breathe underwater. It would take thousands of years to mutate for your body, for the human body to adapt and then mutate to survive. Thousands of years.
Yeah.
I really fucking hate this. I keep planting one, and I'm planting it, and it disappears. And I plant, and it disappears. Plant, and disappears.
Should have been buying it with a thing that needed research. That's what I should have been doing. But I
Yeah.
didn't. I just went bling bling bling.
Mistakes were made. Alright, all the potatoes have been planted. They'll grow again.
Q.
Q's on?
Yeah.
Um,
For some reason, I get notifications still when he's on. It's only a handful of people. I think like 3 people.
am I on that group?
Yeah. Abe, you. Well, 4 people. You, Brother Teresa. Abe, you. Yeah. So you, Abe, Brother Teresa, and I guess Q.
Don't you go too far away. Boom. Alright. Go up the ladder. Wait. Wheat, potatoes, more potatoes.
Oh, come on, game. Stamina should not be running out like that. Where it's like 4 bars at once. This is a bug and it needs to be fixed.
The stamina where it immediately dropped 4 bars. Or if you're too far away from someone and you go to eat, it completely disappears. And you're like, I ate.
Yep, or we eat and we don't regenerate our health.
It hasn't done that to me yet. It did it to me before the update, but since the update, it hasn't done it to me, so.
Alright, the restoration book is going in the raw well chest. So you know.
There we go.
Potion of leaping. I wonder, just for science, Can I take
for
a potion
science.
and name it on a potion thing? On an anvil?
Let me go down here and reload all this stuff. But when we break the anvil naming it,
Yeah.
can you name it?
Yeah.
What did you name it?
I
You
named it
goof.
Weeping Lizards.
Leaping. My fucking god, man. My fucking god.
I'm glad it worked. It's going in this chest, like right there.
I question your sanity sometimes. I really do.
Yeah.
There are questions I have about you.
I'm gonna take a piece of lapis lazuli and see if I can name that too.
Light off.
I can't believe you can name a lapis lazuli.
Lights
That's funny
off. Lights off. Piston activated. Ready for launch.
though. Oh, fire starter. A twisted fire starter.
Lights on. Lights on. I like the delay of reaction I had with it where it just turns on and be like doosh, doosh. Turns on this row and then delays and turns on the rest. Very nice if I do say so myself. I thought I put the potatoes away.
Are you at the farm?
Yeah. I'm at the big farm. I'm trying to get everything I can. What I want to do is take the stuff from this world, from this area, since I no longer use this house anymore, and I mostly live at the village outpost is where I live, and I'm gonna build a house off the side of the village outpost. That way, I have my own place to live, and I'll just use this area over here for occasional farming and occasional. If we ever have a guest, like if we ever get someone to play with, that that you trust, we can go ahead and bring them into the fold and be like, you can have this house over here in this giant village outpost, and anything you want over here that you don't fuck with the turtles can be yours. Which is sad that Jessica doesn't want to do it because Jessica's like, I don't like all this big stuff. I like blowing up stuff with creative. And I'm like, I know, honey, you like blowing up stuff, but Minecraft just isn't about blowing up stuff. It's about creating and surviving and doing stuff. And she said, I don't want to. Which is sad. My girlfriend doesn't want to. Like, she'll play
Yeah.
Minecraft with me, but she doesn't want to go ahead and play on survival, on the hardest mode on survival. Which at this point in time, we've turned into a fucking cakewalk.
Oh yeah.
Like we
Yeah,
have we have built enough food and built enough stuff that everything turns into a cakewalk at this point.
even with this glitch stamina, we can still function.
We could take multiple fucking hits from everything and fucking survive. We're almost to the point where we can fight the Ender Dragon and do it with a breeze.
Yeah. If
Which
it
is
wasn't
funny.
about, I want to do it, but we need a lot of those ender eyes.
Ender Eyes, yeah. Alright, coming over here to the farm.
I'm walking on, trying to build a couple, what's it called? Fences. I want to make these bees not die.
Um, put a fence around the lava so the bees don't fly into it. Maybe guard bees.
Yeah, try to guard him. This better work. I don't want to make another 64. Come on, wall. Getting stuck on everything. Is there spider eyes in the chest there? I think we could take the dragon. I think I really could.
Oh, I think we could too.
Without even using the bend bullshit.
We just have to find another. I mean the thing where it makes them, and then put the ender eyes in them.
Yeah.
Which on the infinite, the bad thing is if you clicked infinite world, and since you clicked infinite world, it could be anywhere. But if you click limited world, it's always, somewhere nearby, or underground, or above ground. But as soon as you find it, you're like, yep, that's it. It's right there.
I think ours is gonna be really in the middle of nowhere.
One, two, all right. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. I could really go for orange cream soda right now, or orange cream, milkshake from Arby's.
I need to make more. I'm gonna need to make a lot more.
I have a question. I've always wanted to ask this. What do you do with the bone meal?
Usually just powder it into bone blocks. I've been like storing a bunch. I have almost 264 bone blocks.
Okay, because I've been watching you, and I'm like, I take all this food and I dump it back to your area, but as soon as I do that, you turn it into compost, and then if you take it to compost, you turn it into bone meal, and then you take the bone meal, but I've never, like the entire time we play, we usually use it to grow super trees,
Yeah,
and then we
that's
grow,
another thing I do. Super trees.
when we grow the super trees, it works.
It only takes a little. Yeah.
It only takes little. Takes the 4 trees surrounded by each other, and then hit one, and it turns into a super tree. But my question is you're just using them like super trees, right? Not nothing, anything goofy or weird, right?
No, just super trees and bone blocks.
Yeah. Okay, that actually makes fucking sense. Cause I this entire time I'm like, the fuck you is doing with this shit, man. The fuck you is doing.
Yeah, because I'm always like bone.
Yeah, you're always like bones, bones, bones. Shit, I need that. I don't need this though, but I do need this. There we go. Boop. Boop. Alright, cool. Two, three, four. Carrot time.
Oh, geez.
We need a pig farm.
Yeah, we do. We had one in the cow area, but for some reason they ended up dead.
I know I don't kill the cows unless I have your permission, and then I really watch out where I kill. I don't go hog wild and go crazy because we need the cows. And we always have that one milking cow, so we can just take that one cow and use it for milking and breeding.
Oh man, it worked. Alright, that should work. Alright. Can't wait to see if it does.
What works? What are you doing?
Jailing off the lava tree area, or the lava area.
Okay.
So yeah, the bees can't fly in there.
Alright, alright. I was talking to Nigel today, and he sat there and did his British accent, and I'm like, dude, can you not fake an accent? And he's like, when I get talking like this, it is quite hard not to fake it, because considering it's part of, like, no, that is childish. You're being a fucking child. It doesn't make you look cool. It doesn't make you look amazing. It's just sad. It's sad when someone says they're fakes their accent. You
Yeah,
don't hear
especially
me
growing
go.
up.
I'm like, you don't hear me walk up to someone and go, I'm Shug and Hun, but unless I'm fucking around my other relatives in Florida, and I'm like, hey Hun, can you pass the salt? Or hey Hun, can you pass the sugar? Or hey yo bro, can you pass the honey?
Or me start doing a Jamaican accent.
I'll be like, you doing a Jamaican accent, you're not even a fucking Jamaican.
Well, it'd be like me doing an Arabic accent, like where I'm like, "La la la," and I'm like, what?
Like you're only half Arabic.
Yeah.
You've
Be
never
like, what?
been to Israel or Syria.
No. But I'd start be going like, la la la.
If you did that, I'd be like, the fuck is wrong with you? I would laugh, but I would be like, I respect you, but don't do it ever again.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
Oh man, shit.
Isaiah said to ich. It's like Abraham said to Isaiah. I was gonna say Shalmuta. What are you doing? Ay Bobby. Very good.
Yeah, but you don't hear me use my southern accent unless I'm like around my relatives, and then I pick up my old southern accent, and it's not like I physically do it out of like on purpose. I'm around all my other relatives, and when people are like Shug and Hun, it just kind of slips out. When you talk to my brother, you're like, yeah, you're from Florida. When you talk to me, you're like, you're from Florida? And I'm like, yeah, born in Florida, raised in Arizona. And then wait, what did I just give too much thought? Maybe I'll take 20 and I'll take this. And I'll take this. I thought I just said take it. Pretty sure I said take this. Thank you. Carrots. Nope. Carrots. But no, I had to talk to him today. And he's like, I don't think. He's like, I don't think my accent should bother people. I'm like, it's not an accent. You're just faking. I'm like, just because you lived in Britain for like 3 years doesn't give you an accent, especially to the point where you're a little kid and you barely remember it.
Yeah.
Like, I
But you're
lived in
not even
Florida till I
speaking.
was 2. Now, my mannerisms around my parents and my parents sitting there and using sugar and hun and sweetie pie and everything else, that sticks with you. You basically mimic your parents, but you don't mimic your parents' accents. Hence why they say language, when people move from other countries, their parents speak the original language, but their children speak the language of the nation they're raised into. Because you
Yeah.
don't learn what your parent. I thought I just heard something die, like something go like a villager or
Yeah.
something. I gotta be wrong. I gotta be hearing things. But no, when you're raised in like most Hispanics, that like they're in when Hispanics were coming over to the U.S., their children back when I was a kid were learning English. And they learned English. Some of them that were born in the U.S. were moved out here at the age of 2 to 3, automatically learned English like that. Their parents, however, had a hard time with English. And then I remember school, like classes in school where they had an after-school program where they would teach the parents English inside my school. You could go there, and they would teach you free class on how to speak English and how to write um, English sentence. Since Spanish is different in English, no form of writing, but it's the
Yeah,
same
it's kind of a,
same alphabet but different ways to write it, and they would teach you for free.
yeah. It's literally backwards in the way we speak is literally backwards from other nations. So it's so weird, but it seems so natural to us, but it's literally backwards completely.
Yeah. Are you nearby? Because it's less laggy.
I'm in the bee farm
Um,
trying to put a thing down here so we can put a crafting table somewhere, but I don't know where. Maybe
there
under the
is a
ground.
crafting table in a bee farm. There already is one.
I've never seen one. I usually go upstairs to switch out the stuff.
No, there's one down there. That's Nigel's house, and he put one down there.
Oh, is it on this floor? Oh, there is one. Yeah, there's one
Told
down
you.
there.
I'm like, I know there's one. I use it all the time when I'm down there. It's how I turn bee honey into bee blocks into bee combs and everything else.
There we go. Now there's one on the downstairs.
Um,
It's one on both floors now. His was buried under the lights. Think of it, this place is still his house technically, but I don't think we'll ever return to it.
he was a good kid. Still is a good kid. But for the love of fucking Pete's sake, man, when you sit there and we're trying to sit there and enlighten you, and we're telling you, the world isn't the way you think it is, and then when you get first experience in the real world, and you work a job, and then you just fold like a
No,
deck of cards,
immediately fold.
you
Yep,
just immediately
immediately.
fold. It's not the way to go.
And then
And
everyone
now
else.
he's drinking. Like he's like,
Yeah,
I come home and I drink, and I'm like, you're an alcoholic. And he's like, don't
that's what
fucking
it.
call me an alcoholic, six. And I'm like, you know my name, but you're choosing not
Yeah,
to use my name. The fuck, man. You know, you don't come home from an angry day of work and then drink. You come home, you eat some food, you
Yeah.
watch some TV, watch something that makes you happy. You don't drink. And he's like, "What about
Yeah.
you? You drink?" And I'm like, "I have a bottle of moonshine, a bottle of Jack." I'm like,
Yeah,
"I
that's not the
drink."
minute you get home.
Yeah, like that's not the minute I get home. And I'm like,
No.
my dad had a beer today because he went ahead and worked almost $3,000 worth of cards, fixing over $3,000 worth of work in cards, and did 4 cards today and pulled out multiple parts and then replaced them and did a fucking phenomenal job. Where his boss is like, "Look, man, we like you." And we love the fact that you're here and you're the only mechanic that can do this stuff because you had the certifications and the years of knowledge of doing it. Please don't leave. And my dad's been talking to him, and they're like, please, just don't leave our company, don't leave our company. My dad's like, sweeten that paycheck, and maybe I won't leave.
Yeah.
He's like, economy's getting tough, and I need more money.
Yeah, for real, it really is. I think they should just do that with everyone.
Raise
Like,
everyone's paychecks, raise
yeah,
the minimum paycheck to like $20 an hour. Be like, everyone gets $20 an hour paycheck. Lower
it should be because
inflation.
of gas. Literally, gas is $100 to fill up the car.
Dude, I
Like, what the
watched a
hell?
guy fill up his gas tank at Costco, and it was an RV. $300 to fill up an
Yeah.
RV gas tank. And I'm like, how? How? And I watched the dude sit there and he goes, luckily I have a credit card, but that's $300 in gas on a credit card.
Yeah.
And I'm
You
like,
better
is your
shoot the
RV
camera
is
over
your
there.
RV diesel? And he goes, no, my
Yeah.
RV isn't diesel. It's just a little V8 in it, a little V8 engine that chugs gasoline. And he goes, now that I think about it, I should have gone with a diesel engine. He's
I'm
like,
sure
I could
those
have, but it wasn't like a big RV. It was like a little minivan looking RV, but it had like a gas tank on it that had two saddle like if I say saddlebag gas tanks, you know what those are, right? Where like the big
Yeah.
semis, there was a big drum that sits on. He had two big drums and filled up both big drums, and it cost 300 or 400. I want to say 3 or 400. But he sat there and he was yelling, and he like yelled loud enough that the guy came over and he looked at him, and the guy was like, "Can you not pay this? You charge it to your Costco card. You put in your card. Are you overdrawn or what?" And the guy, and I'm like, if it overdraws, it would stop it at how much ever money he has left is where it would stop. And he goes, "No, I charged it to my credit card, to my Costco card." And he goes, Costco credit card, all right. He said, just charge it to his Citibank card. And he goes, "But insert like amount here." He's like this much for 2 gas tanks to be filled. Two. He's like, this is ridiculous. Fuck this. Fuck. And he's like, "I'm going back to Canada." And I looked at his like, I walked over to his plate, and his plate was Canadian. And I'm like, dude, you made it to Arizona. I wonder what gas is like in Canada. Because they're not part of
Yeah.
the U.S. Like, how much gas is into Canada?
It'd be probably worth jumping the border just to fill it up.
Jump the border to Canada.
Oh, I could easily
No,
drive
you
up there.
can. You're up there. You're
Oh
up
yeah.
there. You're close to Canada.
Yeah, I could easily. I've made the trip. It was very easy. And Canada rocks.
Go to
Love
fucking
it.
Canada and fill up. What are you doing here,
The
eh?
girls,
I'm taking
yeah,
your
exactly.
gas.
Like literally, when I went to Toronto, it was literally the girls there like were 10 out of 10.
I
Every
heard
one of them,
Toronto's like
even though
California. I've heard Toronto's like California. It's just
yeah,
Babe Central, hot Babe
they're like,
Central.
"Whoa." Like what is happening here?
The fuck, my dude? What is going on?
I
Train
think we
cars.
all used to be Miss Canada at one point or the other.
Boop, and then boop, and then
Like
boop,
chopping trees. The
and then
work
boop,
needs to be.
and then boop, and then boop, and then 2 go back, and then 2 go forward, and then it boops. I love this light system I did. I truly do. Run over here, turn it off, run over here. I gotta start emptying out this stuff and filling it up. This house was good while it lasted. With its
Yeah.
shutters. Its barricades and its shutters. This house was a good house. And then the bunny farm. The massive rabbit farm.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
I
a little
honestly think
huge.
if we ever do get a third person in this world, and we keep them, I think I would be really annoyed with them releasing the prisoners,
Yeah.
because all the time it took to the war criminals where I actually named them and then roped them in there and then hid them in there. I would be like, you cannot release the Hamilton. I'd be like, you cannot release the war criminals.
Like they're still serving their sentence.
They're still serving their 10-year sentence. I mean, their
Yeah.
lifetime sentence. And then there's Chicken Guard. Chicken Guard, how you doing? Ah, you give eggs.
He was well entrusted.
He was well entrusted to guard, the one chicken guard, to guard this criminal house. But I think people would get a kick out of this house. They'd be like, what? Trap doors that lead straight down? I'd be like, yep. And I'd be like, you want to get up? You get up. And then you hop on up.
Yeah, that the place is actually pretty cool engineered. Like there's like a elevator shaft that goes floor to floor. There's floors there. There's a fast way up with your
Uh,
one climb up area. Like you have a quick roof
that
access.
climbs up to the roof. And then you got the where you got the safe room where you can open it and then
Yeah,
walk. Oh shit! Hold on. Walk into it, and then you can't get out, but you can close it, and then immediately be safe. And no matter what happens, nothing can get to you. And you're like, I'm safe. And then you open the bottom, and you fall down, and it doesn't hurt you. And then you reach up and close it, and you're like, now I'm in the secret drawer room, which has a lot of shit. Oh my god! It has a hopper. Holy! It has stuff. It has lapis lazuli. Honestly, I'll take this stuff back to the base. Actually, I'll take it to here. But no, it's got all of this stuff, and then you fall, and you're like, oh my god, I have all this stuff here. Hole, and then it drops you down the ground floor. And then it's all barricaded where you can close it up, and then actually close barricades, so that way if anything comes up, it can't break through and break the door, and you can see out the door and be like, there's someone right there. And then if you look through the glass, you can be like, I don't want people to be here. Close this, and then close this, and then close this, and close this, and then just sit in here, and just kind of be like, I'm all safe. Now I can look through here. Now I can do this. Like, we really did a good thing when we built this area. All the engineering, all the time it took me to work all the plans and ideas out and to make all this. And then Nigel made the little turtle farm.
yeah.
The only thing I think it never fully worked. He never
Well,
could get it to fully work. The only thing that I think needs to come along, and I think I'll need to get it to move, where you need to get it to move, and I know it's a rough thing, is Murphy the cat in game. He's the only living legend of Murphy,
yeah.
the orange cat, and he guards Adolf.
Yeah, he's just sitting there.
He guards Adolf. But no, I think you need to move Murphy over to your actual house and have him sit inside the actual house and be like, Murphy sits with us.
Yeah.
Because you have
He's
two
just
Mr. Meows.
I don't know where I just got this jungle wood from.
Kind of hoping something would spawn in here. Nope. Lights on. I like how it turns section by section on. It's like doop, boop, 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 boop. Wait a second. Oh, that's wheat. This is wheat. Yeah, this is wheat.
They,
And then this is
the
carrots,
one
and then
thing
this
that
is
pissed me
carrots.
off about it, like the wedding, was the volume on some of the songs were way too loud, and everyone was shouting as loud as they can to try to talk over it. No one wanted to hear the music. No one.
Uh,
It was so bad.
Wedding bells, John. I'm ringing a bell for the wedding. Oh yeah, I forgot. I've been wanting to do this for a while.
Gotta chop down this. Do we have more dark oak? I swear we do. We better. If not, I'll chop down that only specimen I have. I swear I have another one.
You have saplings in your room.
Yeah, I remember there being some, but we only have one full-blown, like, built. I swear I've just the one on me right now. Let's see. Open the door.
The village.
I love the leg where I'm like, open the door.
I like the old village that we have here. The old village that the very first, not the very first, but the second village we found when we were over here. And I'm like, look at this village. Look at it.
Oh, there is dark oak snaps.
The village of pumpkins. The village of greed.
Yeah.
The village of the dead, because it literally had a cavern that runs in between it, and
Yeah.
everyone kept running into the cavern. Ah!
Yeah, they just kept going. We're like, stop it.
Stop running into the cavern. You're falling to your death. You're literally getting knocked off by zombies and creepers and skeletons. Good area, though. Good area. And then go over here.
The illager spawns are in a good spot, too. They're close enough. And then when they added the caves and cliffs, that big gash in the ground got me rich in the game.
I love how I can't how you really can't see the redstone flickering back and forth to turn this stuff on, and it just blinks, blink. Witchcraft. Blink off, blink off. Well, I'm looking at your. What is that? Is that stars? Those are stars. But how you can see your area from here. The railway and the house, the farm, the bigger house that I built. Basically the apartment complex where I'm like, I'm gonna build a little apartment room with each individual room. The dripstones. And then it disappears off of nowhere. Oh, the sun was going down. The moon's coming up. Okay. Go ahead and go down.
I'm chopping all these trees down.
Right
I have to
about here. Nope. Here? Yes, here. Close this door. I did close that door. Okay, like I thought I could just close the door.
So the groom is the youngest of his group, basically. So he's the youngest kid. And
How
my
old
sister-
is he?
I think maybe 30.
Oh.
Like he's not that old. 30's 30 when you really think about it, but 30 doesn't seem old to me.
So he's almost around my age.
Yeah.
I'm like 28. 29? No, 28. Yeah, 28. Keep forgetting my birth. I'm like, my birthday's this month, that, and then I'm born in this, and so that would make me 28, yeah. Jessica is already counting 1 year ahead, so she'll be 24. She's like, I'm counting next month. And I'm like, yeah, but you're 23. And she goes, nope. Next month I'll be 24. And I'm like, alright, so why count it early? Why not just count it on the day? And she goes, because that's not the way we do things. I'm like, oh, it's a little weird. It's a little weird, sweetie.
Yeah. So like, are you going by car years, where the car is actually the year of is the year of? Like it's another year.
But her twin sister, that was the thing. My mom's like, what are you going to get her sister? I'm like, nothing. But they have the same birthday. It'd be awkward showing up with one present for her and not a present for her sister. And I'm like, I'm not dating her sister. My dad's like, yeah, he's not dating her sister, so don't get her sister anything. Jimmy, look at me, son. Don't get her sister anything. Okay, Dad, I won't. Promise me you won't get her anything. And I'm like, why? And he's like, talking from experience. Don't get a sister anything.
Yeah. Like she will instantly get mad. Like
Like,
the
it
other.
instantly turns into an argument, and it's an
Yeah.
argument you will not win. And I'm like,
Do you
alright.
think my sister's hotter than me? It'll turn into that, and then
Oh, I know
yeah.
Jessica's not that jealous, but I don't want to tempt fate and see how jealous she gets.
I've had a girlfriend do that where she's like, my sister has bigger boobs. Do you think she's better? I'm like, no. Unbelievable. Unbelievable that you would say that.
I haven't noticed your sister's ginormous fucking breast.
Yeah. I always said, yeah, but you have the better ass. And she's like, I do. I'm like, yes, yes.
I dated a girl whose sister's boobs were bigger, and her name was Rachel. But I can't remember her sister's name to save my fucking life. But Rachel had like weird, like her boobs were like, they weren't pushed centered where it was like all centered. They were off to the side. So like, and I would just like squish them together and like normal, off to the side,
Oh, yeah,
normal,
yeah. So it
off to the
has like
side.
that, yeah. You could park like a car in between them. I
Yeah,
never liked
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. You know what you're talking. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm like, and I never complained about it, but she knew it bothered me, and then I'm like, I'm not shallow enough to admit that I don't like it. I'm like, a boob is a boob to me. I like
Yeah,
boobs. Boob is boob. But her sister one day went ahead and walked in while I was sitting there in the living room. I was like watching TV, and she's like, "Where's Rachel?" And I'm like, "Oh, she's in bed sleeping. She had a headache." And her sister sat next to me, and she goes, "Has she told you about my boobs?" I'm like, "Why are we having this conversation?" And she goes, "Do you want to see my boobs?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm dating your sister," and she immediately like rolled off her top, and her boobs were like bigger, and they weren't off to the side. They were fully center, and they were perky. And I'm like, oh my god, holy fucking Jesus! And she goes, yep, I got the better set of boobs and the better puss. And I'm like, good to know, good to know. And she's like, some food for thought for you. And I'm like, not going to cheat on your sister, even though you just want to cheat on your boyfriend. I am not going to do it.
Yeah. I've had people try to like have arguments, like they wanted to literally like get their boyfriend jealous, and those moments are crazy. Where they're like,
Um,
"This guy is with me right now," and they're like trying to put me on the phone. I'm like, no, I don't know this woman. Who is this lady? Like, what are
Lady, who
you?
the fuck is you?
Yep. Like, what are you talking about, girl?
What drugs are you doing, lady? I think my most favorite moment was, and this is pure fucking jealousy. Uh, another girl named Rachel. I have a lot of luck with women named Rachel. Jessica's actually the first Jessica I've ever dated.
Uh,
She is the first person that has a J in their name that I have dated. Yeah, I would have to say that I dated. Okay, I need to dump the rest of this shit back off. So with that being said, many years ago, I'm in high school. It's high school at this point. It's Zoop. It is senior year. This girl named Rachel that I went on a date with one time. So me and her are sitting there and we're talking, and she's like, I really like you, and I'm like, oh, okay, I really like you too. And then at the time I wasn't dating the other Rachel because it went from one Rachel to another Rachel, but spelled differently. It just went from one girl named Rachel to another girl named Rachel, and it bounced back and forth between two girls named Rachel. Getting off that point and getting back on the topic, so I go ahead and my ex-best friend, he's a dick now. He actually raped his girlfriend, and she told me about it. Anyways, this is before he was raping that woman. So we're sitting there one day, and he's over at my house. He's a junior, and I'm a senior. And me and him are sitting there, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I am playing Call of Duty game you got me for my Wii. And he goes, oh, okay. And he goes, go into online mode. And I go into online mode, and there's immediately a dude shooting me from across the map and through buildings. And he's laughing, and I'm like, fuck you, man. I'm like, this is stupid. How is this guy doing this? And he's like, it's a Wii, dude. No one plays Wii Call of Duty, hence why I gave you the Wii Call of Duty. He's like, I have a PS3. No, PS3, because PS4 didn't come out till 2014. No, 13. It came out 13. Anyways, he's like, yeah, man, I'm like, fuck you, man. And I got angry, and I just sat there and watched a horror movie, and he wanted to watch some other stupid horror movie that had boobs in it, so he could sit there and stare at boobs, and then possibly jerk off in a guest bedroom, because I'm pretty sure he did that almost all the time while he was over. Anyways, so we're sitting there and we're talking, and he brings up the Rachel girl, and I'm like, oh yeah, she's friends with your family because she went to the school with your cousin who's Mormon. And he goes, yeah, so we all know each other. And I'm like, okay. And then he calls her and he goes, you want to do what with me? Wow, I thought you liked Jimmy. And I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to? And he goes, Rachel. Yeah. And I'm like, are you trying to make me jealous? It's not gonna fucking work, dude. And I'm like, and you see me in my prime, in my younger years, and you even like, bam, you're pretty good looking.
Absolutely.
Like my younger years, I looked good. Now I'm just a big, pudgy 6'1" guy.
I'm just a fat guy to me.
Fat guy to Miata.
That's all.
But no, see, there it is again. That wow. What is it? It's not a cat. What is that? And it's not on your TV. It's on my TV.
I wonder, are you close enough to foxes killing animals in the wilderness?
Oh no, it's the foxes in the house I'm hearing.
Oh. Okay, because sometimes they just make noise like this.
It's the foxes in the house. The prisoner fox. Those foxes committed war crimes. But no, he's like, me and Rachel are dating. And I immediately texted Rachel, I'm like, yo, you and him dating? And she goes, no. Do you possibly want to go on a date? I'm like, not really. But it was weird. And like, even when she was dating her boyfriend, she's like, I still have feelings for you. And I'm like, really? And then like last year, she's like, yeah, because it was 2021. Because we're last year. She's like, before I met Jessica, she's like, so what are you doing? What's going on in your life? And I'm like, nothing. And then she goes, oh yeah, me and my boyfriend, etc., etc. We have an apartment. We're going to get married soon. We're going to get married on Halloween. He proposed on Halloween, so we're going to make the wedding Halloween. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. And then she's like, let's video chat. Her boobs are like spilling out of her like nightgown. I'm like, Kate, can you cover yourself? And she's like, why? And I'm like, because you're married and engaged, and you kind of just spilling your boobs all over the place, and there's a bit of areola showing. Which, people, if you don't know what areola is, it is a circle around the nipple. The nipple is the nipple, and then around it is the areola. And I'm like, your areola is showing. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, I'm sorry. And I'm like, yeah, can you cover up, please? And she's like, yes, I can. And then the entire rest of the night was, not the rest of the night, but like the hour we talked, was her sitting there and her boyfriend in the background playing Call of Duty. He's like, fuck you, fucking bitch, that's hacking. And I'm like, what does he do? She goes, he's currently in between jobs. And I'm like, oh, mm. But no, it's funny to watch how people change over the years. Because she used to be a little curvy, and now she's full blown, like, heavy, fat, big boobed woman. But, like, not where the tit to stomach ratio is good. It's more like more stomach than boob. And you're like, ugh, no thank you.
Yeah.
Like, no thank you because you're getting married, and no thank you because you're not my type. You're not. Your boob to body ratio is odd, and I don't like it. Plus her personality of immediately jumping over me and like, hey Jimmy, I like you. What about hanging out sometime? And then being like, I'm married, but my boobs are partially showing, and I don't give a, I don't care. And I'm like, you should care. You have a fiance who's literally right there in a gaming chair, yelling at a dude about killing him through a wall on Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I'm like, technically you are cheating, and you are trying to engage in someone in cheating. Was this room? Yes, this room was carrots, and then this room was carrots. And then that means this room is beets, and then pumpkins, and then watermelons, and then pumpkins, and then, yeah. Okay. I might take a break real quickly to actually eat, because I got a pizza. We made some homemade pizza, and I really am starting to get hungry.
Yeah.
Alright. I'll be right back. I'm gonna end this party chat. I'm not in the party chat, but this live stream. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, or good morning to wherever you are.